So, okay. Yeah.
It's funny because there's nobody in the chat that said, "Hey, where's the show?" You know, that's the first thing they scream at about a minute into it. Let me see if we can reboot it. Meeting is now streaming live on custom live streaming service. So I'm rebooting the YouTube, or at least refreshing my screen, and it's just spinning in circles. So
yeah, same. Okay, well, looks like I'm gonna have to literally just crash this whole thing.
all right, hold on. Let me see. Let me see what happens when we click on the link.
Oh, yeah, no, we're live.
There we go.
We got it.
Yep.
We're live.
Here we go.
Wow, YouTube just threw our first stream down the toilet.
It ended. Streamed live 8 minutes ago. No views. Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, we're live. It's showing that.
Okay.
It's jumping back and forth. Sorry for the confusion. We got YouTube just kind of did some weird stuff when I went to stream the first one. It just showed a blank screen, but we figured out the glitch, and we're good to go now. So glad you're here. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. This episode is getting to meet the Ugly Raptors. And if you guys don't know who the Ugly Raptors are, they are the local flying club here in Southern California, here in San Diego, especially. And tonight's episode is going to be an awesome one. So I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. So there's a whole group of people that have been, I'll say, working behind the scenes to strategically find the right airspaces to fly in, the right times to fly, what seasons to fly, what type of wing, what type of areas that you need to stay away from. And they've really over the years done their homework and have been very committed to the cause. And so you guys know Gringo works with me, and we were having a talk the other day and just said, it'd be awesome is if we had all the Ugly Raptors on the show at the same time, and we'll set a precedence, and maybe down the road we'll do some other flying clubs and have whoever wants to come on. Hey, look, Todd Scandrett's in the house. What's up, Scandrett? Yeah, so we've got a great show lined up. I want to mention just a couple things. One of is PPG Smoke. PPG Smoke, Ryan Roberts, he's created all kinds of cool stuff for the flying community. He's an engineer, and he's engineered some stuff. He's got some just incredible components, incredible things. He's got these float systems, also some pretty cool strobe systems that just came out, very unique. And anyways, go to their website, all kinds of stuff. Brand new chase cam coming soon. He's got another batch of the headsets that have came back from testing. He sent me a picture, and he ended up having to probably spend, I don't know, probably $7,000, $8,000 in radios. I would show you the picture, but anyways, he had all these radios over this whole table, and he's testing every headset with every radio to try to figure out what the glitches are with that. So some people have the headsets, the first batch, and there was some glitches and stuff. Anyways, he's working on that. Super cool. So PPG Smoke. Also, this show's brought to you by paramotorprops.com. Go check out their website. Paramotorprops.com is the website. And that's if you accidentally blow up a prop like I've done a couple times. They will get you a great deal. Also, American Allied Drains and Plumbing is one of the sponsors of the show. They're amazing. So thank you for that. Thank you for the sponsorship. If you want to reach out to them for a plumbing need and you're in San Diego, get a 10% discount if you mention paraglidingtalk.com. Their phone number is 844-777-9055. So glad that you're here. I want to just fix something here on my screen, and I'm just gonna kind of go across the board here. Scott, Chris Dewey, Jay, Matthew Pesci, Randy Clark, David Northrup, Ivan Rubio, PBG Bob Father, Ripman, he's down there at the fly-in. That's where all these guys are. Alfredo and Miguel also. are all part of the Ugly Raptors. So the only ones that are not Ugly Raptors is Ripman and Sean, and they're out there at the Bad Apples flying. Super cool. They're out there in Georgia right now.
But they're ugly.
Yeah, yeah, they'd fit right in.
Hey, Robert, look what we got here. You see this?
Wyatt.
This
Oh, that's
here?
Flying Wyatt.
Yeah,
What's
that's
up,
right.
guys?
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I got to hang out with him at the Salt and Sea. What's up, buddy? Looks like
Right.
you grew a couple inches.
Maybe. Or
Yeah,
I might even shrunk a little bit.
yeah, those hard landings, they'll make you shrink for sure.
Yeah, and the
Wyatt
barrel
is-
rolls and forces.
Yeah, yeah.
Wyatt
That's
is
right.
what, 14 years old? How old are you, Wyatt?
I'm 12 years old.
12.
12.
And how long you been flying?
Since I was 9, so 2.5 years.
You see who's
Kind
Leah
of a late
Cachulo's
bloomer.
back there? Is that Will Fly too?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. What's
There's
up,
the
guys?
Nick Griffith,
Hey, what's
got
up, Nick Griffith?
David Wolf,
Who's David who?
David who? David who?
JT Wardle.
I think
Anybody?
Leah Couture.
Leah, where'd you go?
Leah is gone. Anybody who's anybody is here.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys got
On the
Right,
East
Patty
Coast.
corner
On the
to us.
East Coast. The West Coast is
Yeah,
all right here.
That's right. Let's
East
get
Coast,
back to
baby.
the Ugly Raptors, Robert.
Yeah, so I want to mention
We're gonna go on mute.
I forgot
why is it so important to have a flying club? This is over the years I've been a proponent encouraging people to create clubs, and the reason that this was personal to me, so you guys can please that's my first question this for this episode, but for me it was personal. I really didn't have a whole lot of contacts in the very beginning. I found a phone number online. I remember I saw a Tucker Got video. He didn't answer the phone, or I shouldn't say answer the phone. He didn't respond to my comments because he had a million followers or whatever. But then I found Phil Russman's phone number on a website when I was looking at buying gear, and he was the only one I talked to. And then he ran off on a vacation, and I had nobody to talk to for the first month. And so you guys know in the very beginning, you are like obsessed. I don't know if you were like me, but I was obsessed with gear and how I'm going to fly, flying sites, rules, regulations, all the different stuff. I could not get enough information. And I think that if we're going to evolve the sport properly, it's going to be because we had so many contacts. And so I'm a strong proponent. Tell me why, and you guys can chime in. I think Chris Dewey has some feedback. Why are flying clubs so important?
Yes, thanks, Robert. So first and foremost, it's a safety measure. Okay, so flying with somebody else can be there to help you set up, keep you out of trouble. Let's say you're flying in a place you shouldn't be. It's just an extra voice of reason over the radio to say, hey, we probably shouldn't be flying over this. Let's go someplace higher or safer. And, you know, engine outs are just a reality. So our club has had numerous engine outs, and thankfully they were all, uneventful. I think about half of the people on this Brady Bunch spread have had engine outs, from Matt to myself to
Straight throwing people under the bus.
I won't out everybody, but you know what? They were all uneventful in part because we had very fast retrieves and good support. You know.
Yeah.
Besides that, sometimes people new to the sport are doing something with their gear or with their flying habits that's just dumb, and you need somebody there, and you got to be willing to listen to say, hey, when somebody says, hey, what the hell are you doing? You're going to get hurt. You're going to get us in trouble, or maybe you should try it this way instead. So that voice of reason there, as long as you don't have too much pride and you're willing to listen, is really going to help. Okay. Cause if you're new, it's invaluable information, especially because you don't have to be the first person in the air on a rowdy day. Okay. You can watch some people launch first and see what the air is like, see where they're going, and then maybe hang out with the group and ask a little bit later, hey, why didn't we fly over this area? And they can tell you why. I've always said, learn from the mistakes of others because you won't live long enough to make them all yourself.
Yep.
So, I mean, I could go on and on about it. But I think I'll just hand it off to somebody else in the group.
Yeah.
This is Bob Father. I'll summarize it as something that we've all known. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And if you surround yourself with 10, 20 people in a club, you learn a lot, just because what you don't know, they'll discover for you or tell you and share with you. Again, I think Chris's point is well taken. You have to be humble enough to listen. Even if you got a lot of experience, there's always something else that you didn't know. And particularly to Robert's point, you don't know the site unless you live there. So if you're part of a club, you can find out, you can get a site briefing, you can get a lot of help about where you want to fly and where you go. And then of course, the camaraderie doesn't go wasted.
Right. And some of us have, more than
I think
Whoever that is, they're
There.
breaking up. We lost them.
That was Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew bugging out there a little.
Matthew, if you can just turn off your video for a second so we can hear you. Usually it'll clean up the audio
Just-
if you turn off the video.
how's that for you?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, that the club everybody's got strengths and weaknesses. Some are better with weather, some are better with airspace. And so I think if you're part of a club, you can kind of fill some gaps, and, not everybody knows everything. So you can share stories, and really clubs bring, checks and balances, right? Because we chat in a WhatsApp group daily. And if someone has a bad idea, then there's an opportunity for someone to say, yeah, you may not want to do that, because we all affect each other, right? One of us does something really stupid and gets a site shut down, then, we all pay for it. So it's kind of checks and balances, how I see it.
Yeah, that's great. I just noticed that we did have to change the YouTube connection. So I just changed it on the website. So if there's people that are trying to watch and they can't figure it out, that's
Yeah, I kept
Now they-
I kept refreshing mine, and I only saw a 5-second video.
yep.
And then
Yeah,
what I did was I searched Robert Michaels on YouTube and went to it, and you can
Oh.
see the live one.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a good idea. That probably works. So now the website is up to speed. Yeah. So hey, look, it's Harley Milne. Nice.
Yeah.
Right on, Harley. I'm glad you made it out there. Oh, there's Steve. Hot buttered Steve.
We're not trying to take away from the show. We're just trying
No.
to show you some of the people that we're hanging out with out here and
Yeah.
what's going on.
No,
I saw
it's great
Minyard.
interjection. It's great.
Yeah. Minyard and also I saw Nebraska PBG back there, Josh Bowden. Hot buttered Steve donated $10 to Super Chat just now. He said, Robert, I have destroyed the periodic table of the elements because the only element I believe in is the element of surprise. Well played. Well played.
How are the bushes, by the way, Steve?
Yeah. Steve, we have some pictures that we want to share with everyone. I just want to make sure that these are not photoshopped or something.
Hey, Steve, word travels fast all the way to the West Coast. Just like that.
Just like that. I got this picture.
Look at the picture.
Yeah, it looks like Steve's like landed in the bushes somewhere.
He's on a safari.
Look at, he's got to tell his story now. So I think one of the biggest benefits, this is just my opinion, biggest benefit to a flying club is that you can reach out to somebody and pretty much have someone to fly with any day of the week. I mean, I'm just saying in general, I don't get to fly all that often, but when I do, I like to fly with someone else. And being able to reach out and just say, hey, I'm thinking about flying this place or that place. I feel like I've got a decent handle on weather predictions and weather models. I pay for a weather deal. It's called XC Skies. And so a lot of times I'll be the guy to look up the weather. If it's me and Gringo going to go fly, I'll look up the weather and talk about it. But when you have a flying club, everyone has their own little ways that they're going to look at the weather. Will Fly donated $20 to the super chat. He said, Resurgence PPG rocks. Will Fly, you rock. Yeah. So maybe let's shift gears a little bit. I get calls every once in a while or messages on Instagram, different social media outlets, especially YouTube. People are coming to San Diego and they want to fly paramotors. I usually defer them to Gringo or somebody, especially if I don't really know them that well. I'll try to inquire a little bit. How much airtime do you have? And I don't really want someone reckless coming and then representing, oh yeah, I know Robert, and showing up to free fly at a site with no rating. And one guy showed up one time, no helmet, and he flew midday at Blossom in the summer. I'm like, whoa. And the guys all gave me a hard time. They're like, yeah, he said he knew you. I'm like, I didn't tell nobody to come here, man. But anyways, flying clubs, what do you guys have to say towards the people? And I'm not trying to start a fight, but what do you have to say to guys that are inspired to come to San Diego to fly? What's your advice, and how should they go about it?
So there's a problem in that there's a lot of times that you're in direct violation of FAR 103, and we've had years of flying these sites, and honestly, none of them are suitable for a new pilot. Okay, none of them, and for safety reasons, for reasons of them being congested, we avoid those boundaries as much as possible. But this is not some place that you can just set up a big open empty field. It is a congested area, and that includes the airspace.
Yeah, so Southern California is the most congested airspace in the world. I didn't realize this, but when you consider general aviation, San Diego is very congested. So you have to be careful at all times.
Yeah, it's funny. Matt and I always joke about the LZs, like if we ever had like a grass field that we could launch from, but it's always gravel or like tall weeds.
Yeah, no joke. And no wind and high altitude.
Some of our best pilots are struggling in the morning trying to launch, and I've seen you, Robert, try to launch in the morning. And the variables matter: wing size, thrust, wind direction, and your launch site's up the size of a postage stamp. So you just if it's not going to work with the variables, and you just don't fly, but you try to make the best of it.
Now, that being said, if you go just east of San Diego, there's Salton Sea, and there's a lot of places out there that are beginner friendly. Maybe in the summer it's a little hot, but I'd encourage people to look up that, of course.
That's good. If someone wanted to get a hold of your group, how can they do that?
Gringo.
Nobody wants to respond. They're like, we don't want you to get a hold of us.
I think you already let the cat out of the bag on that one. They contact you, and then you throw them over to me, and then I look at the guys and go like, where do I send them? Send them to Fiesta Island.
I literally
send them to TJ.
Send them to TJ. Which we got a great LZ an hour south in TJ. Ivan and Alfredo. These guys know they're locals. They speak the language.
The trouble is that we're not trying to be gatekeepers. The problem is that we've seen time and time again pilots that we know are skillful and respected get hurt or get in trouble. And it makes us not want you to go through that.
It's also like we've had multiple occasions now where people that are not associated with the flying community, and that's what's important. Ending up on the news, and we're not trying to get that bad press. And it seems like, man, if they would have just talked to somebody, I mean, pretty much anybody in our group, it could have been a different scenario. We can't predict everything that's going to happen, but like, for example, there was a guy that just the other day did a torque slam into the sand at Fiesta Island and broke his neck, and he's lucky to be alive. That could have went a whole different direction if he would have died, and that would have put us in a really negative light. It was already a negative light on the news. Had he connected himself with some local pilots, I think it could have been different. Obviously, training, pointing someone in the right direction for training. When I showed up on the scene, I had already been free flying for a bit, but my motor game sucked, and it still sucks. When I get a chance to go fly, it's usually free flying. So, but I'm learning. I'll inquire. I'll ask. Chris Dewey gave me some training. I said, hey, help me out on this. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And he was glad to help. He didn't ask me for money. He didn't tell me, hey, you know what, sign up for my course. We're just flying together. So he's like, I want you to get in the air. You want to get in the air. Let's make this happen. And we did it. That's, I think, a really positive thing about being a part of a club.
And I'm happy that Robert's first motor flight was actually on one of my motors.
Yeah, that's right. See the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the problem is that we live in a sport of risk and reward. Okay, so the risk is yours to own. But nobody's going to want to add to your risk and then kind of be involved if something bad happens. Is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want to be negative. Flying is amazing, but it is to be respected.
For the guys that fly down south quite a bit, I hear the Ugly Raptors have a pretty good presence in Mexico. Maybe, I don't know if Miguel and Alfredo, can you chime in a little bit about what people can expect when they're coming to San Diego and then making the transfer over to Mexico? I know, Gringo, you do it all the time. Pesci, I'm pretty sure you've done a couple trips. Tell us about what they can expect, because that does happen quite a bit.
And make sure you, Ivan and Alfredo, if you want to speak, you got to unmute yourself and fire away.
Well, in order to go to Mexico, if you just go before going to Mexico, go to the, what is it? How does it called, Anthony?
The declaration line, and off to the right.
Uh-huh. The declaration line. You just need to just talk to the officer there, let them know that you are just flying for the day, and that you're taking your sport equipment, and you're free to go. Well, they'll ask you a couple of questions, but just to make sure that they do their job, and they'll let you go through. And on your way back, you just need to be prepared for that long line if you don't have a sentry pass.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, so if you do want to go into Mexico, obviously we've got a couple stories about crossing into Mexico with our equipment. Most of them are good. There's a couple bad ones in there. Again, these are agents that are not familiar with our equipment. They're not familiar with our sport. And anything like an off-road vehicle usually has a California registrations from the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. You're not going to get that with a paramotor. We're trying to find some system that we can get some sort of official decals or stickers that shows that it's registered. Once they see that it's registered, they understand you're not trying to take it there to go sell it, make money, and then I guess that's one of the reasons. One of the other things too to keep in mind, from what I understand, I have never really had a problem with, but also if you are bringing 5-gallon fuel tanks, cross with them empty, obviously you're going to get a better price down there for these days, but you're not supposed to have fuel in them. And, you want them empty, and then you fill them up there and you get your, higher octane or whatever. But go ahead, Ivan.
I just want to say, yeah, you can have your gas in your tank of the motor, but not on a second, what is it, the tank.
Wow.
Yeah, your extra 5-gallon tanks that you're carrying extra. Yeah, they want those empty. Fill them up anyway down south because you're going to get a better deal, especially with our gas prices. It's cheap, way cheaper down there. It's like $3, $3.25 a gallon or something.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you couldn't bring your own gas. I wonder why.
On your way back to the United States, the same thing. You have to have your tank empty.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Great information, by the way.
Are you going to talk about any of the bad incidences crossing the border with the motor? I know there's a couple.
That's a good idea.
I'm not sure if you want to talk about them or not.
No, you should for sure.
Tell us, Randy. Sure, you've been down there.
How about Alfredo? He's got a good story for you. Is he on there?
Yeah.
He could tell us a story.
I'm trying to forget that bad memory, man. I don't want to remember.
The sad thing is Alfredo is Mexican and Mexican citizen, and I'm pretty sure. I think you're from TJ, Alfredo, maybe whatever. But you go down there a lot. Mexicans are harder on Mexican nationals than they are Americans crossing. So
yeah, I think that's what happened. Yeah, that they just really wanted to. They just really just looked at me and hated me and just wanted to screw me over. So yeah, $2,000 fine.
Oh,
because he didn't declare it. You have to. There's out of 20 lanes, 19 of them are nothing to declare. There's one to declare, and it's up to the agent that day and how they feel or what their knowledge of our sport is or equipment and so forth. But so the best thing to do is to go through the declare line, and then they go, oh yeah, you're fine. And then they call somebody in a lane and they'll send you through that lane. If you just go through the nothing to declare, it can be confusing to them. And then to them, they think that you are trying to smuggle it or trying to bring it in without declaring it. But there you go.
But the thing is, they wouldn't just let him back across the border when he said, okay, fine, I'll go back. They wanted to charge him for the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I would have gone to the declare and those same people were there, they probably would have let me turn around. Because
once you get the okay from the self-declaration, I mean, you can go through. Nothing's going to happen. That happens only if you don't declare and if the officer doesn't really know the sports. But you're supposed to be okay even if you don't declare, because it's a sport equipment, and you have the right to have 2 sport equipments with you without any problem. But unfortunately, some officers don't agree or don't want to follow the rules, and they just want to give you a hard time.
Something else to consider here in Southern California that people are going to come to visit is you cannot launch from almost any beach in Southern California. And, so people come here and think, oh, I can launch from the beach, because in Florida, I see it all the time. Not in Southern California. That is not, there's a very, Fiesta Island is a very unique gray area, but generally you can't fly from the beaches in California.
That's a good point, Matt, because in like Huntington Beach and some beaches that you end up taking off, if you can find an LZ from the locals or whatever, and you take off inland and then you fly over the beach, you really want to pay attention to the locals, and they know the rules, because if you do fly certain areas 500 feet within, and you're too low and you're over the sand, they usually will follow you, and they know where you're taking off from, and they usually cite you. So from what I understand, the general rule is 500 feet up and 500 feet out over the water. And,
And you should mention that if you come here and want to fly Fiesta Island, you should be doing it with somebody that flies there, because you can't just fly around the island. There's a line down the middle of that island. And there's also, I think, a bird sanctuary in one part of it that you're not supposed to go.
It's not even in the middle. If you look at the sectional, there's only like the northern tip.
Yeah.
It's not like restricted airspace.
Yeah, and it's Class B restricted. There's nothing higher than that.
Yeah, and I think some of you guys, I mean, for the most part, you call the tower, right? I don't know which tower somebody's always calling, and at least letting them know.
That's a myth.
Yeah,
it's a myth.
That's what we say we do.
That's I don't know. Some people call it, but I don't know.
I know
if
who
it's
you're talking
called.
about. Yeah, I don't know. That's
All right. Don't call it. Because you're just getting a voice message anyway, I guess. But whatever. What else, Robert?
That's important. I do have to mention a couple sponsors. Look at all the girls at the fly-in. Is that Flying Jade? Hold on, I'm gonna have to let me stop this for a second.
Those are my girls. I had to get on here tonight.
Hey, Ripman, unmute yourself and let's say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Linda.
Oh my gosh, they
I see
all know
Harley
mom.
back there. Harley, you can hide, but you can't run. I see you. How's my girls? Oh, Sean, I'm sorry.
Wait a
Sorry,
second.
Sean.
Will Fly has his own T-shirts?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have one, do you?
No.
You can buy one with all the money he's donated to you.
Yeah.
Right on. That's all right. I just wanted to get on here. I'm sorry, Robert. I just crashed the show.
And Todd Scandrick's passing out shots.
Empty cups. Oh, hey, thank you, sir. No, these are
I see David back
These are all
there.
empty cups, but excellent.
Oh.
I just spilled one. Oh.
Oh, my crazy.
Alexis Quintana just jumped in the lake and then she gave me this big hug. I'm soaking wet right now.
Stop it.
Ah.
Lake is nasty.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, look how nice they have. They have so many.
I feel like I've been in the lake twice now.
They have so many fly-ins. Honestly, guys, we should find a semi-local big field or something and try and have a big fly-in here because it's Southern California. Who doesn't want to come to San Diego, right?
We do have one. It's called the Salt and Sea Fly-In.
I mean, like on a real beach. Not a
You know,
steep beach.
the problem is that all of our launches suck. Everywhere we go, the LZs, the areas where you're flying, it's all congested. You got to worry about helicopters and military jets flying over. You got no airspace rules. You're flying through these little tiny crevices and airspace, and flying paramotors in San Diego is rough.
Hey, Robert, something else that kind of to go along with why clubs are important is not just local clubs, but national clubs, USPPA. My opinion is, PPG, we're in kind of a precarious, we're in kind of a in-between stage. We're too big to be ignored, but we're too small to matter. Yep. So compared to the general aviation community, they have the AOPA, Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, a big organization, a lot of lobbyists, a lot of money, and they can persuade and influence legislation, things like that. We're nowhere near that, but if we grow and grow legitimately into a bigger national, more powerful, more clout of an organization, I think would be on stronger footing than we are now with FAR 103.
Yep, very good. That's a good point. Want to mention Nebraska PPG. He's one of the sponsors of the show, Josh Bowden. He runs a school in Nebraska. And if you're interested in getting some top-notch training, you can sign up with Josh and his team today. There's a link in the description. He's actually at that fly-in right now. So if you want to go and find him, he's there. Also want to mention maxacro.com. Max Marion has a whole series of SIV clinics scheduled. You can go to the website and sign up for one. They're relatively inexpensive and incredibly informative. Over the years, I've seen people progress really well when they go through his training, whether it's at Torrey Pines or through SIV courses. So go check out his website, maxacro.com. Also, iFly Indiana powered paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, there's no better place to get the proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. That's iflyindiana.com. So the back to the you're coming from out of town. I do want to just mention that I know that the Ugly Raptors are formally, or I should say, are exclusive to paramotoring, but some of you guys are starting to do some free flying. There's obviously some things that have to be done, transferred over. Like I'm paying quite a bit of money every year for my membership for my United States Hang Gliding Paragliding Association. Then I've got the San Diego Paragliding Association. They get some money from me every year. And then I pay for my weather forecasting system, XC Skies. That's only $40 a year. But all of these things, every year, I membership to Torrey Pines Glider Port, all of these things, there's all these little fees. What's nice about a local flying crew is there is no extra fee, and they will point you to the right direction. Don't get any ideas, by the way. Start charging people to join you. It's just one fat cat that gets all the money and doesn't do anything. It's politics. But when you consider the benefits, and the other thing I was going to mention, I like the idea of the accountability that comes from an actual person, where it's not just some, behind the curtain agency that you have to worry about, but it's actually your homies. It's the people you fly with, and you do something stupid and you're like, dude, why would you fly there? The other day, Gringo gave me a hard time for flying over some stuff that I shouldn't have been flying over. And he was right. And I just, I didn't even really think about it when we were in the moment, we were flying. It's like, oh dude, that could have got us in trouble. And those things are way more influential, because if I got the phone call from somebody that's the leader of the club and say, I just want to I just let it shut your mouth. And now I'm going to do it more. But when it's the flying community and it's your brothers that you're flying with, it's totally different.
Yes, Robert, we actually had a couple of occasions where someone came out to fly with us, and it wasn't 10, 15 minutes that we realized we were dealing with somebody who was a liability, and you just have to shut the door on them, because they're just going to do what they're going to do and be more of a risk to themselves. So, that's important, because I think I touched on it earlier, is if someone's willing to listen, it's not because we're trying to tell you what to do and be a boss. It's for safety reasons. It's because, the things that we've learned are as safety measures are sometimes written in blood. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
doubt.
you also got to be aware that there will be folks out there that just, they take how much money they have or what kind of car they drive as credentials for their flying ability. I'm like, it has nothing to do with it.
How many subscribers they have on YouTube. I want to say special thanks to Dave Northup. He actually stole his son's paramotor and let me use it one time when I didn't have a paramotor. It was amazing.
That incident, I remember his what was it, the stirrup, I think, came loose.
Yeah.
And it wound up coming back a little bit, and pre-flight, especially when it's somebody else's gear.
Yep.
Yeah. Make sure. Fortunately, there was nothing that you handled it great. You landed right away. We tucked it away, and you had a great flight on it. But that really drove home to me the importance of pre-flighting gear, especially if you're flying somebody else's stuff. And
Yeah.
by the way, that
And it's
motor
for
is
sale, right?
only got only 17 hours. It's for
It's
sale.
flown by Robert Michaels. So
And it was flown by
it's
Robert
worth more than
Michaels,
that.
right?
That's gonna cost us a little
You
bit
need
more.
to sign it, Robert. You need to sign somewhere on the hoop or something.
I'll sign it. No problem. I can do it.
You should sign the prop, where you nicked it or something. But
Where I nicked it with the strap. I think I feel
yeah,
bad.
you could
No
find
nicks.
that motor.
There are no nicks in that prop. It's perfect.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Good.
If you're interested in, actually, Dave, it's great. Dave's an honest guy, and he flies and lives in a beautiful place in
It's a top 80, right?
near
It's
San
the top
Diego. So it's on Facebook. It's for sale. Go check it out.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Can reach out to Northup.
The other thing is, if you're coming to Southern California and you have a nice clean wing, you won't when you leave.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
what is it, Robert? It doesn't matter what color your wing is. If you fly in San Diego, it's going to be blossom brown.
Yeah, it's gonna have blossom dust on it. You can launch at Torrey Pines and you're still gonna get blossom dust. That's how it goes.
Tori's the
there is
only-
no grass in San Diego.
Yeah, Tori's got the only grass in town.
We really need to find a nice big green patch to fly.
Yeah.
Got one.
That would be nice.
I can
Who
think
said
of
that?
one we can't fly there.
Obviously, San Diego too. We've got rolling hills, so we want to find something maybe in a little slight plateau, nice flat, not buried in trees, not buried in mountains. Obviously, we can't find something near the beach, but yeah, it's a little challenging.
I get so
government owns all the
jealous.
land or private property. Everything's fenced off.
Yeah, I see these videos of these guys flying like in Georgia, like a sod farm. I'm like, yeah, we just went down and asked the people at the sod farm if we could launch, and they said yes. We're like, what? Oh my gosh. We were launching out of cactus patches. Like, well, if you, as long as you just stay straight. Now, don't go too far and don't go too short. Don't let your wing touch those kind of bushes. Literally everywhere we fly.
And every square inch of this state is owned by someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And they,
Thanks for letting me crash your show, Robert.
yeah, you're in
And,
trouble, Mom.
Hi.
I don't even know how you got in here, Mom.
I have my connection.
Yeah, I know. It's terrifying to me because I have no idea how you figured it out.
You know, I had to get on here. I'm like, I gotta see my bad apple peeps over here, man. I was going crazy. Get me on. You know how moms are.
You're a troublemaker, Mom. Somehow you squeezed your way into every show that's on the internet. Was watching Joe Rogan the other day, and a mom showed up in the background. Scott, you've been quiet all night. I know you got some good stuff. We had such a great time at the Salton Sea flying, and I rarely get to hang out with Scott, but it's when I do, it's at the Salton Sea.
Yeah, Salton Sea was great hanging out with everyone, and yeah, I hope there's another flying or getting together. I'm going to find one a couple of weeks ago with everyone. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Need to get out there more. It's a good
Salton
group
Sea,
here.
there's like 3 times as many hay bales as there were in February. I was out there last weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the LZ got a little smaller.
Well, I'm
Not
glad
by
that
A
much,
lot
but-
smaller. A lot
That's-
smaller.
There's still like tons and tons of places you can launch from, though.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's putting it, I don't know if Chad still puts it together, but yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be some serious thought into where the 2023 flying
Oh,
is, 'cause,
really?
Yeah, it's you could have it where we had it last time, but people are going to be like quadruple stacked rows of RV. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be tight for sure.
It would be fine for our own club or locals to go out and have a small fly-in, but it's
Oh, yeah.
way too small for Chad's fly-in.
Yeah, it's possibly doable, and there's places further north that maybe people could get to, but yeah, it's unfortunate those hay bales are everywhere.
You know what it'd be cool if we did one like Painted Gorge.
There's plenty of room out.
It's closer too. Yeah,
And
I
it's
have-
all
Also-
it's all BLM land too, so it's completely legit. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also
the only
a lake-
so the big thing that's missing from Painted Gorge is that with Salton Sea, you got that big body of water to
Yeah.
mitigate the thermic air during midday, which is why we love it. But I mean, as long as we relegate our flying to the right times of day, it's going to be great out of Painted Gorge.
yeah. It'd be a morning and then an evening, glass off.
Hey, so anybody recognize this? Only person on this on this panel, maybe Chris Dewey. This is Salton Sea 2009.
So where is
Oh,
that
wow.
in Salton
And
Sea? Because
and look at this.
that's
It's
a paved road.
It's a
paved
different location. So obviously we might want to consider another location.
No. So that water is like a mile away from that road.
Due to evaporation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2009, all those people had beachfront property.
So you're saying that that's in the same location generally, like the same place on the lake? Just
So no,
whether-
that's not the same place on the lake, and I can tell from the houses
It's
and their
definitely not.
position in the distance of that photo.
Oh yeah, over here. There's a little point. There's a little point to the north, but this is probably towards the top. Chris, would you say that before it starts to turn at the top of Salton?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
tell it's an
But
old
look,
photo.
but look
'cause
at how
none of the
it's
gliders
amazing.
have designs.
Yeah, it's amazing how active it was, and there's obviously a lot of hang gliders there. There's a couple down here.
I'm just wondering why there's so many people on top of each other with their wings out right there.
Probably for the photo.
There's a lot of wings.
They did do a photo, and they did a big old kiting.
Oh, they were
all the wings
kiting.
were up there.
Yeah, they were kiting. That's what it was. 2009. Where did you get that picture?
Jeff Hammond's site.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Very
He's got some great
interesting.
photographs. So Jeff Hammond, who you've had on the show quite a few times, has flown pretty much the full west coast of the world. You know, I mean, it's just North America, South America, Central America, obviously, and then up and back and so forth. But he's got some great photographs from years and years of flying. So anyway, but it's interesting. We like, it's funny because I hear sometimes when you guys, you get Rip Man and those guys on the West Coast doing, coming on this show and stuff, and they talk about their flying. I heard one of them go, wow, we did a cross country. It was like 45 minutes. I'm like, 45 minutes, we fly every weekend. It's a 2-hour flight, easy. So, it's kind of, it's a little different here on the West Coast. I don't know if we do maybe less flights and longer. Everything is, I don't know if it's all forward or reverse here, but yeah. So beautiful flying.
So you got to also, tell the bad with the good. And those light and variable morning launches are sometimes result in some banged up motors and some chopped up lines. It just happens when you're not doing a nice, easy reverse launch.
Yep. I need some wind. I almost despise launching. When there's no wind, I almost just want to just go back home. I've blown up 2 props already. I've snagged lines. I've botched like 8 launches and exhausted myself before I got in the air. So I was completely soaked, and it's like 35 degrees in the air. And then I fly around like a popsicle. My clothing are like frozen.
Yeah, that's why there's a lot of wings out there that their main design feature is lightweight fabric and easy inflation. Just because if you can't get off the ground, you're not going to be able to enjoy flying.
Yeah, if you can't run fast enough because you're too fat, you're out of shape.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's me right now. Tubby.
Just buy a bigger motor.
Flying midday there at Bad Apples. Do they fly midday there, or is it?
That's a good question for the Bad Apples people.
Yeah, Bad Apples. Can you? What do you think? Are they listening?
No.
No, she's shaking her head no already.
Okay, so something I got to share with you. I just got back from flying up in Washington State, and in the winter months, you got a few flying days that that aren't rainy, but midday is not off limits. It's because there's no thermic potential in the ground or in the air. It's just cold and calm. So I flew midday plenty of times up in Washington State. It's just, but you got so many bad rainy days that, you're robbed of opportunities to fly. So it's just different rules depending on where you're flying.
Yeah. And this is definitely a place where you can't be, you got to get up early, especially in the summer. Like if you aren't up by sunrise, I mean, you're kind of behind the ball, unless you only want to do like an hour flight, which is fine. But if you want to get that nice 2-hour flight in, you really got to be up early.
Yeah, San Diego air is notoriously punchy, bullet thermals. So, I remember one of my first landings was terrible. And right as I was coming in on final, my wing did like a 45-degree turn. It was weird.
Oh, yeah, that's so sketchy. Midday landings are so scary to me. Oh, that's how like all of the baller acro professional pilots, that's how they all get hurt. It's like they're coming into land and a dust devil rolls through and they get slammed.
Yeah, because when you're free flying, if you can manage to get up high enough before it gets nuclear, you just have unlimited lift. So much great lift for cross country flying. It's gonna be bumpy, but you're gonna be able to go far. I mean, we had just a few months back a team, including Phil Russman, make it from here to Salton Sea after years of trying it. Finally made it, and that's an amazing distance.
Yeah, I saw the picture of him coming on final to Salton Sea, and I'm like, what the heck? On a motor? Yeah, free flying. There's I think a record for California got broke yesterday or the day before.
Oh, yeah?
Did you see any of those tracks?
Oh,
it's
no.
Northern California, but man, it just looked crazy. The overdevelopment that was happening. I mean, full anvil, cumulus nimbus, just insane overdevelopment, and they were staying away from it, I guess, but using that to fly. Let me see. I think
I mean, when you look at dust devils, you think, wow, that's dangerous. But if you're up high in the air, that's a thermal. That is a nuclear thermal giving you incredible lift. So, I mean, it just depends on if you're good enough and knowledgeable enough to take advantage of those forces. But this is supposed to be a paramotoring conversation. But
it's okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
that's a mushroom cloud.
Those guys were flying in that. Like, what
he
the
did
heck?
say nuclear.
Yeah, I mean, that is not a good idea. If you see this, just stay your butt on the ground.
Oh, I
Yeah,
saw that.
exactly.
But anyways, they flew from the Bay Area, and they landed all the way in south of Lemoore. I want to say that's like 300 miles or something. Wow. It's insane. Yeah, but anyways,
we're definitely more a group of recreational pilots. We're not really trying to push, like records. A lot of times our goal is to just, we're going to go, do this usual route. And it's a blast, but mainly because we got camaraderie.
Who started the club?
Was it Miguel?
Yeah, Miguel and Mark and Rob and yeah.
Oh, you can't mention him.
Oh,
there's a lot of Robs in this town, but
Rob, I didn't start it.
Speaking of coming to California, if you're in Central California, last year I went up, just cold called Mike Robinson up at Blackhawk. He was very hospitable. That's a great place to fly up there too.
Cool dude.
Yeah,
I just saw they put out an advertisement to get more instructors.
Oh yeah. I don't know. He's got a great place up there for sure.
Now hiring.
He has that big ranch.
Yep.
He was he was my guest on Clear Prop TV about a month ago.
I just want to put my plug in for my people.
Sean's been awful quiet back there. He's busy talking about something.
Sean, he's on vacation. He does this show every week.
He's off the clock.
Yeah, he's off the clock. He doesn't.
We're talking about you, Sean.
Yeah.
I want to know if he delivered any packages there. Hey, I'm going to Georgia.
Because the internet's not good.
Yeah, it's muted. Hey, this is Karen from
Hey, Karen.
Orange. And
Karen from Para Orange.
She wants to say hello,
Yeah.
Robert.
Well, hello there.
Yeah, I'm the new bag lady.
Oh, no
Hey.
kidding. Nice.
Bags are back.
She's my freaking camp neighbor.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool, Karen. Nice
So
to meet
Para
you.
Orange product still lives.
Yep.
That's awesome. Because I have a paramotor. I have a Para Orange products shirt. I think I have some swag right here even.
I brought 2 of them with me, as
did
a
you?
matter of
Yeah.
fact. Yes, I'm going to be wearing them at the event. Just saying.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great.
Very
Speaking
cool.
of sponsors, I have to mention Lone Star Paramotor. This show is brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan to get world-class training. LoneStarParamotor.com is the website. Also, the show is brought to you by Resurgence PPG. Resurgence PPG is a 501c3 that supports adaptive or recovering PTSD military guys. Maybe they've
Craig does a good job on that.
Yeah.
Where is Craig?
You're a Lone Star alum, right, Jay? You went to Lone Star.
Yeah, that's right. I went to Lone
Jay,
Star.
no kidding.
Got trained by Ron Turan.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I sent a couple.
There you go. There you go, right here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Miguel
Yeah.
from Power Fly, the owner.
Nice.
Miguel, I have an RS. I love it. Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Miguel, I want to have you on the show, man. You have to come. I don't know how to get a hold of you, but I would love to have you. Get with Sean. He'll get your information.
Yeah, what Robert said.
Linda with me.
Okay, that will be fine. Not today, not tonight. Just a 22-hour trip. It was a crazy.
Your hair's a little messy.
Yeah, I need to make my hair.
Yeah, so we've got Resurgence PPG. The website is resurgenceppg.com, and I just want to encourage you. It is an incredible investment to put a donation towards them because of what they do. I mean, if you only knew the half of the things that they're doing for our wounded warriors and veterans, it's amazing.
Hey, real quick, at Bad Apples, you might want to mention they're doing a raffle, right? For Resurgence PPG, and they're going to raffle off
They're
a
giving away a
paramotor.
paramotor.
Yeah.
It's crazy. $100.
Yeah, so the raffle is $100, and then you whatever money comes in that's raised, they're gonna donate to Resurgence PPG, and then you can win a motor, and I think it's your choice between Moster 185 or Atom 80. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
And
super cool.
Ripman, how do they get to the link? What is it? Bad Apples? What's the link?
Bad Apples is the website. Yeah. Bad Apples Flyers.
Bad Apples Flyers. All right.
All right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great show, Robert.
Yeah, sorry we started off a little bit late. There was some weirdness going on with the YouTube stuff. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. I really feel like we only scratched the surface of topics tonight, and I'll love to do it again. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show, all you guys. And let me know. I know I don't always chime in on our WhatsApp chat group, but I think that's probably one of the greatest tools that you guys have for the flying club. You can always know what's going on and where people are flying. And if you want to get jealous that other people got to fly and you didn't, you can always just go to the chat and WhatsApp and see the pictures. Gringo he'll rub it in for you most times. And so yeah, I really appreciate everybody. You guys are awesome. We're gonna go to the after show. Literally this is like the halfway mark for me. So we're gonna go hang out. If you want to join the after show, just message any one of these guys that you know, or just put your email in the chat, and we will send you an invite. And so thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the moderators that do what you do, and we will see you on the next one. If I don't see you in the air, I'll see you on there. Thanks for watching.